I like to grow. I always try to understand it, but sometimes we just don't. So we love them anyway. Roberto Clemente is very pleased to sponsor the Awesome Author Series along with our partners Empower New Haven. We do have Tom Thicklin here with us from Empower New Haven, and communities of color from the New Haven Arts Council. And the New Haven Board of Ed also contributed to the series overall through the Comprehensive Arts Department. Today we have a very special guest, as you all know, and you've come out to see and hear and just be with Nikki Grimes. Her biography is on the chair, so you've already probably picked that up. And one thing that I want to point out here is that Nikki Grimes has written well over a dozen books. She is one of the most renowned YA authors, and that YA stands for Young Adult Literature, as well as having such a large repertoire of young people's literature. In fact, in New Haven public schools, every third grader reads Meet Demetra Brown. We have enough copies of that book for each student to have their own copy on their desk, to feel the pages, to look at the pictures, and to read the words of those poems in that book. So that's been a favorite of ours for a long time. So when we had the opportunity to bring Nikki, of course we've all been looking forward to this day. And our students through the Awesome Authors program had a chance to be with her today in two different assemblies. We had one for our 6-8 students, and then we had another for our 3-5 students. And we invited the rest of our school community to come and enjoy today, along with the community that our school is in physically. And we do that because it's important for us to give back to our community, to recognize and uplift and enrich our community. So, without any further ado, I'm going to give you Nikki Grimes, poet and novelist and author, and she will...
Us three, my brother, mom, and me. I wish I had a room that I was forced to clean. I'd gripe to my best friend and say, come to my house and play. Things could be worse, I know. At least I'm not alone. My mom and brother holds me tight, and I cry late at night. That's a poem called Shelter from Thanks a Million. As the title implies, it's a collection of poems about gratitude, the attitude of gratitude. And one of the things I'm most grateful for is the impact of storytelling in general, the power of poetry in particular. Ever since I was a child, I believed in the power of storytelling. I remember, for example, when I was young, I read Death Be Not Proud by John Gunther, and by the time I finished the book, I found a slight nodule on the back of my neck, and I became absolutely convinced that I had a brain tumor and that my days were numbered. So I showered my mother with a great deal of affection, which made her highly suspicious, since we didn't normally have a lovey-dovey relationship. She figured I must have done something terribly wrong, which I was desperately trying to cover. She just couldn't figure out what. And I remember giving my best friend my birthstone ring, an opal, which I loved, because I wanted her to have something to remember me by after I was gone. At some point I must have told my mother that I wasn't well, because she did take me to see a doctor. The doctor was not much help, however, because she said the nodule could either be something really serious, or else it could simply be a lymph node which would disappear on its own. And she suggested that we just wait and see. Well, as you might imagine, the next few weeks were among the longest in my young life. In the end, the nodule did in fact turn out to be a lymph node, so I went back to ignoring my mother like a healthy little preteen. And I went to my best friend and I said, give me the ring back. And she did. Eventually, she forgave me. But obviously, the experience stayed with me and taught me something about the impact of storytelling and the power of language. Language is powerful indeed, and poetry is a distillation of that power. I am poetry. I am words syncopated to the nth degree. Langston sang me blue. Opera was Shakespeare's choice. He lifted his voice to the strings of clavichord and mandolin, then waltzed me from Romeo to Juliet. Yet others like Gwendolyn Brooks, Baraka, and Donna Lee rocked me to the beat of jazz and bebop. Hip-hop came later. No matter, in a master's hand, I can be smooth or sassy. I can coo a sweet tale in the cradle of a lullaby, climb octaves on a symphonic stair, or rip the air like Aretha. Are you the poet? Well, I'm your lyric. Sing me any way you choose. I was a poem I wrote for Children's Book Week, Children's Book Council one year, and it speaks to the notion that music and poetry are intertwined, and they are. Poetry is the place where words and music meet. And just as music provides a score of our lives, poetry speaks to every experience, every emotion common to man. That connection begins the moment we come into the world, from the first lullaby sung to the first whisper of words and the voices of our mothers and fathers. Poetry soothes us, rocks us, welcomes us into the world. Welcome, precious. Welcome to a world wrapped in rainbow. Welcome to robin song and the swish of leaves in the breeze. Welcome to the silk of grass, the satin of rose petals, and the swish of sand between your toes. Welcome to rain-swept earth and spiced cider on the wind. Welcome to sun sparkle and moonlight. Welcome to the cool delight of ice cream and the sticky joy of peanut butter and a hint of honey and chocolate fudge. Welcome to the warm circle of your daddy's arms, the slippery kisses of your giddy grandmother. Welcome, precious. We come into a world in which all eyes are on us. Until then, as a baby sister or brother tries to upstage us. They sent him home half finished, still scrunched up like a brown package. They should have ironed him out first, if you ask me. But Daddy doesn't seem to notice. Last night he leaned over what that wrinkled creature in the bib, sleeping in what used to be my crib. Make me a godly man, he said. Help me show this little one exactly how it's done. I punched my pillow, jealous as could be. Good Daddy asked the Lord to please watch over me. In times where lucky life teaches us how important those sibling connections really are, and when we discover that soon we would do anything, sacrifice anything to hold on to them. My sister and I dream of adoption someday. In the dream, we're never apart. Then this nice lady comes to the group home with a girl-shaped hole in her heart. The nice lady seemed to like carrying me, but she only had spare room for one. Her home was fairly small, she said. She already had a son. My age was closest to her boys, so she asked if I wanted to go. I squeezed my sister's trembling hand and whispered, thanks, but no. Just as the lyrics of love songs play over and over in our heads, poetry too speaks of love. The love of siblings, yes, but also the love of a mother for her teen son. Maybe there's some scientific reason she gets the urge to hug whenever we're jammed together in a rush hour huddle. Thank God she knows better than to cuddle in public. Instead, while the train screeches to the next station, she leans down to whisper in my ear, "Yo te amo con todo mi corazón." No one else can hear. I figure it's okay to smile. Don't ask me who she learned that expression from, but someone must have told my mom that Spanish is the language of love, because she's been speaking mushy Puerto Rican to me for years. Poetry speaks of the protective love of a son for his mother. Mother slipped into the tent tonight, head bowed low enough for me to wonder why. She tried to hide her face, the palm prick, a crimson scar across her cheek, the latest sting through Sarah. Why does mother accept it? Why doesn't father take her side? Instead, he looks away and wraps his sorrow in silence. Forget Hammurabi's code. Sarah has no right to keep punishing mother for giving father his first son. Tomorrow, I will tell her so. Poetry celebrates the unspoken love between a grandmother and her grandchild. Stepping out to Grandma Mac. When I visit Grandma Mac, she usually snaps at me to wipe my feet on the welcome mat so I don't dirty her rug. There are no hugs, no, "Come here, sugar," just, "Well, are you coming in or not?" Her cold words used to make me shiver, though never enough to chase me away. Then, after a while, I notice how a light switches on in her eyes every time she sees me. And I catch her sneaking money inside my purse or pocket, like buried treasure, so I could find it later. And once, more than once, I saw her eyes bathe me with pride. So I figured Grandma's chilly words on brick walls made to keep me out. They're more like picket fences, with gaps wide enough for me to squeeze through. All I have to do is try.